How's it going, everybody? This is Taba Drabo. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, it's time for another edition of Random Thoughts. In this series, I'll talk about whatever is on my mind, whether it's something interesting in the world, a personal story that I want to share, or if I just want to rant about something. Folks, there was a time back in the 2000s and early 2010s where malls were very, very popular. Like, if you didn't want to go to like a certain area to get something in, you wanted to go to like multiple places, but you want to go there to just one particular area where it can have everything that you want in there. Literally, a mall would be that perfect place for you to go to. It will have everything that you want. A food court, a great fashion stores, a lot of game stores as well, and even a lot of toy stores and a whole bunch of other great stores to get some of your favorite products. However, recently, malls have become more like obsolete lately, all because of a whole bunch of different factors. And I've been kind of thinking lately, like, why malls are not as popular now as they were back then. I know that there's the Livingston Mall where I briefly worked at, where there was a Burger King there. There's also one really nearby in Short Hills, and then of course there's the major mall in New Jersey, the American Dream Mall, something like that. But malls have recently really declined in popularity, and so I thought I'd share with you a little bit about why I believe so. So I'm going to share with you a few reasons as to why malls have become so obsolete lately, why they are not as popular now, and why it may not be long before they're completely out of the groove of today's generation. Now again, these are just some of my reasons, and of course there's always that possibility that, you know, some future generation, or maybe even the generation that I'm in now, Gen Z, could perhaps bring the popularity of the mall back into existence. But again, they're not as known now as they were before then, outside of those major malls in the US, like the American Dream Mall and one in Minnesota, something like that. So these are just my three big reasons as to why I think malls are not as popular now as they were before then. The first reason is that they're still using that real outdated model. Now, obviously, I know that malls are really priding on, hey, here's everything that you could perhaps dream of, you know, food, games, and even clothing, you know, a lot of beauty products, a lot of fashion, all of that stuff. They really bring you everything that you want in the modern day sense. But you know, what exactly about that makes it very popular when a lot of those products that you have are extremely high in prices? I mean, really the only way you would get the minimum of the price as well is if it was like an old product, which most of those stores in those malls are really just very rarely ever seen, or if it's at like a food court, if you're just going for like a simple burger or something like that. High prices play a major part of the models that malls usually use when it comes to conducting their businesses. And really, a lot of people would rather have those cheap prices, and unfortunately, you don't get that nowadays. A lot more people are trying to save for their buck, and unfortunately, malls really don't tend to help in that particular area, because a lot of the prices in most of the stores that they have there, they're extremely high in prices. And because of that, you know, it's going to be very hard for people to go out there and go to a mall, really certain areas of that mall, and get that favorite product because of those high prices. Not only that, a lot of people feel that, you know, like malls are just really become more obsolete because, you know, of the way conditions work. You know, obviously, you know, a lot of malls, they usually don't change much. You know, the only things that will usually like change, or maybe some of the stores, if like one closes down and then one replaces it. But really, in regards to like the actual aspects of the actual mall in itself, you know, there's barely any like real renovations that go on to it unless it's really needed. Many people like to have, you know, like a certain mall that's really like a fresh new start. You like add something new to it, you know, like something that will bring people into the mall a lot more often. But you don't normally see that nowadays unless it's really something that's extremely popular that the mall catches, that they decide that they want to bring in to that particular area. Otherwise, you know, it's just mainly same old, same old. And you know, sometimes people just want to try something new. Finally, I know is really the importance of revenue. Obviously, you want to make sure that if your mall is going to be successful and continuing long-term, revenue has to really skyrocket. And unfortunately, you know, there are some people that are just not interested in really going to malls anymore for other factors. And I'll tell you more about those in just a little bit. But really, the more that people come in, the more that revenue is going to generate, and the more likely that those malls are going to be successful and potentially bring more businesses to work for their particular malls. But without that revenue and without those people coming in to generate that revenue, it's going to become a lot harder for those malls to be able to sustain their growth and be able able to maintain their presence in that particular area. And as a result, you get malls very soon that are likely to be shuttered and maybe just become dormant. As a result, they're just not very popular anymore as a result. So I mean, obviously, there's a model that you use, obviously, to try and make sure that, they're able to generate that revenue and be able to get all the people in to really experience everything that they have. But the thing is that it's really the same old every single time with every single mall. A lot of people would just rather see something new. And unfortunately, if they're not getting that new, it's going to become a lot harder for a mall to stay open long term. And so really, the fact that they have that outdated model that they continue to use, it's really plays a factor into the reasons that I'm explaining as to why malls are not as popular anymore. That goes into my second reason, that people just don't really find it to be that interesting anymore. There's less foot traffic now is at the malls in particular. Every single mall that you go to, there would be like thousands and thousands of people that would be going there to experience everything that they have to offer. And usually those would be at the biggest of malls. But when I'm talking about those malls that are like small level, like for example, like the Short Hills Mall and maybe like the Livingston Mall, yeah, you may have those weekend rushes where, there's like thousands of people that are there really just to try all the food, get some new products, and then get out and stuff like that. But however, during the weekdays, you also have to maintain that same level of activity. And unfortunately, it's become much harder to do that recently as all the years have went by. Not only that, you get whole new avenues of shopping that patrons now are able to get, and I'll explain that in just a little bit. And really, because of that, a lot of people, they just feel like that, like the malls are just really outdated to them now. They feel like that, for some reason that it's just no longer really fits their lifestyle, and it just seems like boring. Like, I mean, who would want to go to that particular mall really like once or twice a month, like every single year, if you're just going to keep doing the same exact thing every single time without you seeing something new there? I mean, it gets really boring and really tiring every once in a while. And so because of that, the malls basically just fall right out of that thought process of those that are interested in really experiencing everything that they would really want to get. And so because of that, as I said, it goes back to part one, it really affects the revenue. The mall does not get that revenue, and unfortunately it stays a lot harder for them to be able to continue afloat as a result. Foot traffic is really important because whenever you're operating a business, if you're going to generate a product, like for example, it goes back to with my marketing video, obviously you got to be able to market your mall very efficiently. Market Why is a place that you want to go to and really just experience all the businesses that they have, and hey, this is really the place of your dreams. You can go here, you can go here, you can go everywhere and get everything that you could particularly want, that you have to do it efficiently. But you also got to keep those people interested, because as generations of future continue to go along, obviously nowadays it's going to become a lot harder to be able to get them engaged when their interests are in a particular different area compared to those of the past generations, like for example the millennials and the Gen X's and all of that stuff. So without those efforts, it becomes a lot harder to do that. And unfortunately, that's the avenue that we're really heading to. Those future generations, they seem to find more efficient areas for them to be able to do their shopping than the malls. And so as a result, a lot less of them are going into those malls, and as a result, it's a lot harder for them to stay open. So really, foot traffic is important to keep a mall open, just like, for example, it's important to be able to generate revenue for people to come to your particular concerts or maybe even buy your own product. The same thing goes to the mall. You have everything you need to be able to market your mall, but in order to do that, you need to generate traffic. And if you're not getting that traffic, you're not going to be able to stay open for very long. Finally, I think a third and really a big reason as to why malls are not very popular nowadays is because the rise of online shopping, as well as, like retro stores. Nowadays, there are a lot of people that would really like to go out and really get something new. But sometimes there are a lot of people that would really like to go there without actually having to step foot there. Or maybe just, try to find something that's, like old or retro that's really popular back in the day that they would love to get now, but it's really not there in the store. That's where online shopping comes in. Now, obviously, it's really risen in popularity nowadays. You got Amazon, you got eBay, you got a whole bunch of apps like, like the ShopRite app or the Walmart app or the Lowe's app, where you can just go in, log in, and buy your products literally on the app or online, and they will literally just deliver it to you without literally having to step into that particular business to be able to go and pick up that particular product. I mean, literally, they'll just bring it right to your door. And I really feel like this has been adopted by that late generation, the millennial generations, along with the current generation, and really will continue through future generations. A lot of people nowadays, they really want that cool product that they see on TV, but they're not willing to go to a mall to be able to go buy that product. They'd rather just get it delivered to them now and continue to do what they're doing at home without having to step out of the house for a few minutes to go out and get that particular product. Hey, that's where online shopping comes in. And heck, even if like a mall was really to develop an online shopping stuff like that, I really don't know how successful it would be. That's forcing malls to really have to recalculate it, So some of those businesses that are working in those malls, I really feel like that, like some of them, if they don't have it there, they may have to develop an online store. So that way they can really have their patrons purchase their products online, so that way they can either go in the store to pick them up without having to make any further payments, or if they have delivery, to just go out and just deliver it to that particular area. I don't know if malls exactly do that, but if they don't, that's a problem, because most other single store businesses, they just do that literally on the fly. And of course, you get those retro game stores, obviously, like I said, the digital presses that you have in there. And then also you have those thrift stores, those vintage stores that you have as well. Those are very popular for those that really want to go back in the days or something like that, or really just find something that, like dirt cheap or something like that. Unfortunately, a lot of products there at those malls, as I've said before, is extremely expensive. And a lot of people, they're just trying to save a bang for the buck. And so some of those people will obviously resort to those areas instead of having to step into the mall, because they know they can find better areas for them to be able to do their shopping and get what they want for a certain price. While malls nowadays, obviously, I feel like that for some reason, they're going to have to start lowering their prices soon for most of those stores. Like some of those stores that work in there, they're going to have to consider lowering their prices, because if they don't, those vintage stores along with those online shopping areas, they're really going to overtake those malls overall. Amazon and eBay, they're literally the same as malls. You can get anything you want from there, whether it's games or even like food or like products or stuff like that. You can just combine them all into one order without getting out of the house, and literally they'll just deliver it straight to your door. I feel like that malls really need to adapt to that and adopt that sort of methods like that, because if they want to continue to stay afloat, yes, it's important to have people come into the mall, but at the same time, for some of those stores that are in that mall, you're also going to have an online shopping method. So that way, if they don't want to step into the mall, but yet they still want that product from there, hey, someone that works for that particular store in that mall, they can just go straight to that area and then just deliver that product that's ordered from there. Shopping online is pretty much the norm nowadays for most people to get this shopping done. And unfortunately, if malls can't be able to keep up with that, then hey, I don't know how they're going to be able to generate those sales to be able to continue a flow. I really find it a shame, because I feel like that, as an old school person, that malls used to be that kind of area where, you would get everything that you would want. Obviously, the same thing applies now with today's generation, where you get the Amazons and the eBay and all of those online shopping stores and all of that stuff. But, it is still that exact area where if you really feel like that you want to go in there and just get everything on your own without really staying home that often, really, you would get to go there and just experience everything. Just experience all the things that they have in there, all the stores, get everything that you want. And I really feel like that, for some reason, there's a part of me that still feels like that a mall still exists in my life, like the American Dream Mall, or the malls in Livingston and Short Hills, and all those other malls that I absolutely will be to. It's been a major part of human existence, and really without those malls, you don't get those areas where you can just go and get everything you want in just one area, instead of having to go to multiple stores in certain areas around town or in store just to be able to get one. But unfortunately, times are now changing, and I really feel like that for the malls to be able to continue to be able to stay afloat, they're going to have to change their business model. They're going to have to find ways to be able to market their particular mall, so that way they can be able to get more people afloat and really just, bring more people to their particular store. And some of them are probably going to have to start adopting online shopping methods. And unless they're able to do that, online shopping, vintage and thrift stores, and a whole bunch of areas where people do their shopping, it's going to be a lot harder for malls to be able to continue doing their business and generate that revenue, so that way people can come and really experience the fun things that happen there in malls. Having things like a mini amusement park may actually help, but still, for malls to be able to stay into existence, they need to market efficiently, as I mentioned before. And unless they change all the certain things that they're doing now, it's going to be a lot harder for me to be able to envision the malls being able to remain a part of human life in the near future. And very soon, online shopping is going to really take over. And as a result, we may start seeing malls shutter more and more in the near future. That's just my take. I still feel like that there is still a part of me that really feels like the mall is important in our lives, and I really feel like that it really should remain as a part of existence in the near future. I really hope to see more malls hopefully open back up again, and for future generations to be able to really revive the popularity of it, because I feel like it's very, very important in life. So I really want to ask you, those that are old school or new school, something like that, what do you think about the malls? Do you think they are still important, or do you feel like that online shopping is now officially the norm? And if you feel like that malls should remain, what do you think they should do to remain relevant? Let me know down in the comments. I'll be more interested in hearing your opinions about it. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. Comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's vlogs, projects, or challenges, you name it, leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media, all the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for another midweek upload. I hope you're having another great day. As always, I hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.